Hi everyone, it's Shayna, and in today's video I'm going to talk about how I hacked GrubHub to make it work for me and allow me to pay off $34,000 in debt. So I started to do GrubHub back in April of 2018 because I was doing Instacart first, and Instacart is a delivery service that allows you to shop for people's groceries and deliver it for them. And that was really working out well for me when I first started doing that back in October of 2017. But Instacart changed up the way that they were paying people, and it just wasn't as profitable. And they may have changed it up again since then, but I'm not sure. But if you're interested in checking out Instacart, I'm going to do another video about my experiences with Instacart, and I'm also going to have a link down below that will allow you to get, I think, $50 if you sign up using my link, and I'll also get $50 as well. But anyway, Instacart just wasn't as profitable for me anymore. And so I was looking for alternative options. And around the Atlanta area here, we have Zifty. And so I would see like Zifty cars around, and I want to say maybe I saw like an ad or something like that saying that they were hiring people. And then you, I believe, got like an hourly wage and also like your tips and stuff like that. And so, and they also had a more tight-knit geographical region in which they worked in. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try out Zifty. So I signed up for Zifty, and it was decent. I would say that in comparison, now that I'm doing GrubHub, I know that those Zifty orders, I would say I would consistently get more, like a higher range of pay for each order. But I wouldn't say that it was really consistent in terms of work. So I really, was very serious about paying down my debt. And so Zifty wasn't really cutting it for me because I had goals that I was trying to reach. And so I looked into GrubHub, and I think I may have, like, a few years ago used GrubHub to order food from, but I wasn't, I guess, super aware of them. I think I tried to do Uber Eats, but a few years ago I had my license suspended because I had a ticket, and I didn't know that if you didn't pay the ticket that you get your license suspended. Anyway, so I got my license suspended, and Uber just they're not fooling with me because I had my license suspended back in 2014. So it's been like over 4 years now, and they still won't let me drive for them. And they wouldn't even let me drive and deliver food for them, but whatever. So that didn't work out, and so I signed up for GrubHub. One thing that was not available for me when I signed up was a referral bonus. So the cool thing is that right now, GrubHub has a referral bonus that if you sign up using my link and you do 20 deliveries, then you will get $200 and I will get $200. And I just find that I just wish that was available when I started signing up, because I could have, used that for debt. And if you do sign up with my link, I would greatly appreciate it because I have a lot more debt left. If you watch my net worth video, I have a negative net worth. I have negative, I think, $71,000 in debt. And so, yeah, an extra $200 would help me out to, get my net worth to positive. So I would greatly appreciate it if you're watching this video and you have not signed up for GrubHub yet, but you've been thinking about, signing up for it to make extra money. Go ahead, check the description box to find my link to sign up for GrubHub. So with GrubHub, you have an orientation. So I went to the orientation and I signed up, and I think they had like orientations like within the next few days. And so I signed up right after work. And so I went after work, and it was like I want to say like 30-minute orientation. Your driver specialist, he goes over how to schedule your hours and how to set up your direct deposit, and and I guess some of the tips and tricks that they have for like delivering food, or I wouldn't say tips and tricks, but some of the things that they prefer out of their independent contractors to do when they're delivering food for people. And so he goes over a few of those things, and then I think somebody said something like, oh, I want to be in the Atlanta area. And he was like, oh, okay, just send me an email and I switch your market. And I was like, how do you know which market you were in? And so I looked and, oh, I think he was telling us about the region. And that's when a few of us noticed that we were not in the Atlanta region, although we wanted to be in the Atlanta region. And so somebody said like, hey, I want to be in the Atlanta region. He was like, oh, send me an email. And so I was like, I want to be in the Atlanta region too, because I don't even know where Lawrenceville is. But anyway, I sent him an email. He changed it immediately. And I want to say I worked that same day after orientation because they had a few hours open on the schedule. And one of the things that he recommended is that you try to work on blocks, because if you work on a block, so a schedule block, that allows you to get the 10-hour or the $10 an hour minimum for each block. And so what that means is that, let's say it was a slow day and you only got one order and it was for $3 something. And so GrubHub would pay you for working $10. They would pay you $10 an hour for working the entire hour of that block. And so I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, because at a minimum, I know I'm going to get $10 per hour. But since I've been working with GrubHub for a while now, I've learned that that's just not something that I need to aspire to do to get the $10 an hour minimum. And that mainly is because like the Atlanta area is booming, like in terms of getting orders. Like I would say if there's a day where it's like a slow day that I'm not getting orders, it's really more so because I think something's wrong with the app. But Atlanta, like, you will get orders. You will definitely get orders. And so in order to get the $10 an hour minimum, you have to accept, like, I think it's 80% of your orders. And that could be anywhere. So that can have you driving, like, from North Atlanta all the way to, like, South Atlanta, past the airport, 20-something miles, and just driving way too much. And so during, I want to say the first week or two, I noticed that I was just driving way too much, spending way too much money on gas. And so I joined a Facebook group. I think it's called GrubHub Delivery Couriers, and then there's one for Atlanta. And so I was reading through, and some people were talking about how they cherry pick their orders. And so that's what I do now, and that's how I feel that I'm able to make the most amount of money without outputting too much money either, in terms of expenses with gas and wear and tear and stuff like that. So let me tell you how I do the whole scheduling and cherry picking thing. So I do work on blocks. And the reason why I work on blocks is because, one, it'll motivate me to say, okay, you have to start working, SHANA. You have to get up and go and start working. If I did not have a block, I don't know how consistently I would go and work each day, especially on days that I'm working my full-time job, because, you know, I'm tired. So like if I didn't have a schedule and I can be like, oh, I'm gonna start working at 9 o'clock, then 9 o'clock comes around and I'm like tired, then I might not end up working for that day. Whereas with the scheduling, I tend to start working at 6:30 every day. And so that makes me leave from work at 5, get home, eat a little something, change my clothes, and start working by 6:30. And I don't have the chance to kind of sit around and be like, oh, I want to chill. I don't have an option in a sense. I do have an option, but in my mind, I don't have an option because I am on a schedule. So another advantage to working on blocks is that you tend to get first choice when it comes to each offer. And so if you are not working on a block, you don't get that offer until other people have rejected it. And if people are rejecting them, they tend to not be good orders. Sometimes they might be okay. You might occasionally get like a $10 order or above because other people just are too far away from that location. But if you aren't on block, you tend to get those lower paying orders because other people are also cherry picking. And so when they are on block, they're cherry picking, and then later on you get those orders. So that's why I always work on blocks too, so I get the best offers, the more attractive offers. I get those right away. So although I am on a schedule, I do not, or on a block, I do not work for the $10 minimum guarantee. So, or the $10 an hour guaranteed. And so I know a lot of people do work for that, but to me, you can make so much more money if you cherry pick your orders, and if you're not driving way across Atlanta to deliver orders and stuff like that, or wherever you are. So while I'm on my block, I'll get orders, and it took me a while to figure out how to really do this. But what happens with GrubHub is that they pay you, at least in my region, I think it varies. Also, the minimum varies per region that you're in. I think some regions get like $15 an hour or $12 an hour, but Atlanta gets $10 for that guarantee. So they base the value of each order based on 3 different things. So the first thing is the base pay. Then the second thing is the tip. And then the third factor is the mileage. So I'm going to go through all 3 of them. So for the first thing, the base pay. In Atlanta, you get $3 for every order. That's the base pay that they give you for each and every order. And so if you see an order that says $3, that means that you haven't been factored in any of the other things. No tip and no mileage. But that's rare. That happens rarely. So anyway, the second thing is the tip. So the tip obviously can vary, and they don't have a, I guess, a minimum tip or like a guaranteed tip. So this is something that fluctuates. People can choose not to tip through the app, and some people choose to tip in cash. Then the last thing is the mileage. You get paid, I think it's 59 cents, which is like the federal amount that they allocate towards gas contributions. So they pay 59 cents, but they only pay 59 cents between the restaurant and the customer's address, and they only pay in a straight line. And so those are the 3 things that calculate the amount of pay you will get for each order. And so what I noticed is that if I get an order that is close to the $3 base pay, that means that the order either is very close by and the person did not tip. And so what I realized is that I need to pick orders that have, I would say more so the first 2 things. So they have a minimum base pay of $3 and a tip. Those are the things that mainly concern me. The mileage, I don't want to be driving too much. And so if it's too many miles, you can see it on the map, then I just won't choose that, because that kind of negates the amount of money that you're actually getting. So what I have done is I figured out that at a minimum, I need to take orders that are $8 and then $8 plus. So that tells me that the person has at least tipped, and I'm getting $3 for the base pay. And there might be a little bit that I'm getting in terms of mileage contribution. And with that, I know that I'm going to make a good amount of money, especially if I get at least 2 $8 orders. Now, I would say for the most part, I tend to only pick $9 and $10 orders, and a lot of times I get $12 orders. And another thing that I do, in addition to looking at how much the value of the order is, I also look at the distance. So one thing with GrubHub is that they provide you with a map, and it shows you how far the person is from the pickup spot, which is the restaurant. And so you can kind of see, like, okay, where you are, then also where the restaurant is, and then also where the customer is, or the diner as they call it. So you kind of have to make an evaluation of, okay, do I have to drive like super far to get to this place? And then once I pick up the food, do I then have to drive super far to deliver the food? And you want to minimize the amount of driving that you're doing, because that cuts into your profits, because you have to then pay more gas and there's more wear and tear on your car. So I tend to pick orders that are close by me and also don't require me to drive a lot to deliver to customers. delivered to the customer. So once I figured out how to cherry pick orders based off of the value of the order and also the mileage, then I started to make a lot more money without having to spend a lot out of pocket. So I was able to profit a lot more. And one thing with GrubHub is that I've noticed that I don't have to work as many hours to make a comparable amount of money. And so most of the times I work from 6:30 to 9:30 at night, or 6:30 to 10:30 at night, and I don't work every single day anymore. And so that's a stark contrast from when I was working with Instacart. And so I tend to work, I would say, like 5 days a week, and anywhere from 3.5 to 4 hours a night. And I will only work during the day on Saturdays. So I'll work the lunch rush on Saturdays. And that's how I'm able to kind of ensure that I'm going to make about like $350 to $450 every week. And so at a minimum, I'm usually making about anywhere from $15 to like $18 an hour. Sometimes I get really good nights and I'm making like 20 something dollars an hour. And so if you cherry pick, you're able to increase the amount of money that you're making per hour. And then there's really no benefit to trying to get the $10 an hour guarantee that will have you running all around your region and doing every single order, messing up your car and everything like that. So that's how I maximize the amount of profit that I make from GrubHub. So like you can see here that this order is close by me. It's actually in the plaza next to me, but it's only $3.11. So that tells me that the person did not tip. And as you can see from the shopping bag to the person icon, that the distance that I'm getting paid for is only worth 11 cents. So this person did not tip at all. So I'm going to reject this order because it's too low in value, and I can't guarantee that the person is going to give me a cash tip, because more times than not I have not received a cash tip when I have taken orders like this. So I make it principle that if a person has not tipped on the app, then I do not take the order. So that's how it goes to reject an order, and that's what I typically do to make sure that I make the most amount of money. Although this was very close by, it could have been a quick order. You never know what will happen, and you don't want to waste your time, especially with people who are not tipping you, and you can't guarantee that they're going to tip you. So that's what I do. Okay, so you see with this order, I'm going to accept it. I'm pretty close by, and the distance between the place and the person is close by as well, and I know that based off of those factors that the person at least tipped about $5 to $6. And we can see once I accept it by going into my task how much the person tipped, and as you can see, $5.91 was tipped by this person. So I made a pretty good decision by selecting this order. And so I'm going to go do this order right now. Another thing that I do is I try to get the cheapest gas available. And so at first I was getting gas up the street from my house, and they have, which you're actually not supposed to do. You're not supposed to be charging people a different price if they have cards versus cash. That's a card member like privilege that they're not supposed to do it, but a lot of people do it. But anyway, if you pay for cash at the gas station by my house, you get like $10 cents cheaper per gallon. And so I was going there, but then I learned that Kroger has fuel points, and so there's not a Kroger fuel station around where I live, but where I go to church there is a Kroger fuel station. So I would shop at Kroger and then get anywhere from 3 to 10 cents off per gallon. And so I would just fill up when I go to church. Or if I happen to be like delivering an order in the area where the Kroger fuel station is, then I would fuel up then. And then I found out, well, actually I didn't find out. My mom sent me her Sam's Club card, and then the Sam's Club is not far away from my house, so it's a lot closer than the Kroger. and the gas prices are a lot less expensive. So for example, the other day I bought gas, or maybe this was like 2 days ago, I bought gas for $2.44 per gallon at Sam's Club. Whereas at the gas station that I was telling you about up the street from my house, it's $2.89 a gallon. So that's almost 50 cents cheaper. So I save a lot of money by being strategic about where I am getting gas from. And I tend to not like spend a lot of money on gas, so I budget $140 a month for gas. So you can see that I'm not really spending too much on GrubHub. I live like 5 minutes away from my primary job, so I don't really spend gas on that. So a lot of the gas I guess that I am spending on is related to GrubHub. But if I'm making anywhere from $350 to $450 a week, and I only have to spend $140, and I don't think I ever really spend $140 a month on gas, I'm able to make a lot of profit, especially if I am cherry picking my orders. So I would advise you, if you don't do GrubHub yet, but you're thinking about doing GrubHub, that you cherry pick your orders in order to make the most amount of money. Okay, so once I would get paid for the week, so one thing with GrubHub is that they pay weekly. And I don't know why, but some people say that they don't know when they're getting paid, like they get paid on different days. I've never had this problem. I consistently get paid on Thursdays. And so I'm not sure why some people are like, one week I'm getting paid this time and another week I'm getting paid another time. I consistently get paid on Thursdays. I get a direct deposit from GrubHub into my account. And one thing about the direct deposit, if you have a bank account that is based on direct deposit, the GrubHub system doesn't technically direct deposit. They use Stripe. And so banks look at that as a transfer rather than a direct deposit. So think about that if you are trying to avoid like fees with your bank account and trying to use your GrubHub earnings to mitigate or to have you be exempt from the fees from your bank account. But anyway, I get paid every week, and so I would have my budget for what things I wanted to pay off, or I would have my, the debts that I wanted to pay off, and knew how much money I wanted to contribute based off of how much money I was earning. And for the most part, I would take the entire paycheck and then turn around by that next day, that would be completely deducted from my bank account to pay off whatever bill I wanted to pay off. And so maybe, like let's say I made $352, because I try to set it up on an auto pay system. Maybe I'll end up with like an extra $2 in my account because the entire amount wouldn't be drafted. But that's how I was able to pay off debt, was by automating the amount of money that would go towards paying off debt on a weekly basis. And I wouldn't really change that unless I needed extra cash for whatever reason, and I typically did not need extra cash for any reason. So at a minimum, I was setting up a payment for extra $350 a week, and then anything that I felt like was excess, then I would make another bill pay or transfer to pay off that rest of that money. And so I had a goal in terms of how much money I wanted to pay off in debt. And so that, number one, motivated me to make that minimum amount of money each week. And so if it was like Friday and I noticed that I was only at $100 and something, I knew I needed to make a lot of money on Friday and Saturday and Sunday. And luckily, those are the big earning days for GrubHub, because a lot of people are ordering out because they're out enjoying life while I'm out here delivering their food. But it's okay because I'm making money. But yeah, so I would just look and monitor the amount of money that I'm making over the course of the week to see if I'm hitting the minimum amount that I wanted to use to pay off debt for that week. And just using an automatic bill pay or transfer will allow me to hit my goal. So that's how I hacked GrubHub to make it work for me. So just to recap, I cherry pick my orders based off of the amount of pay that I'm getting also based off of the mileage, and I make sure that I work on blocks. And then once I get paid from GrubHub, I automatically set up a payment to whatever debt I'm trying to pay off for that week. And so I'm able to stay on top of paying off my debt and getting towards my goals. So that's how I hacked GrubHub to allow me to pay $34,000 off in debt. So tell me, have you ever used GrubHub? And if you are interested in signing up. And I will say that I do have a referral link for GrubHub. If you want to sign up and you do 20 deliveries, you'll get $200, and then I will also get $200. So it's a win-win. And what better way to start working a side hustle than to get an extra bonus the first week that you start working? And GrubHub doesn't do these bonuses that often, so make sure that you use my referral down below, because I don't know when this opportunity will be available again for you to get a referral bonus. So I'm interested to know, have you done GrubHub, and what strategies do you use to maximize your earnings? And I am all for learning about extra tips so that I can make the most amount of money, so I can put it towards this debt and, you know, become debt free. So I would greatly appreciate it, and I'm sure other people who are watching this video would love to know what tips you're using in order to maximize the amount of earnings that you make from GrubHub. Let's say you aren't interested in working for GrubHub. One thing that you could do to support people like me and other, GrubHub drivers is use the service. I have a link also down below if you're interested. I think you can get like $10 off your first order using GrubHub. So help us out, help us delivery people out by using the service, so that people like me who are, using this to earn extra money on the side to meet whatever financial goals, that they can achieve that through your help. So I would appreciate it if you checked out the link below and ordered, and no matter what market you are in, just use the link below and you'll get $10 off your first order, but you'll also be helping another GrubHub delivery driver to earn extra money as well. If you haven't liked this video yet, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to comment. And if you like this video and you're interested in more of the videos that I put out about building my net worth, paying off debt, and how I'm using side hustles like GrubHub to pay off my debt, make sure that you subscribe to this video. And I appreciate you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon in my next video.